America had supersonic fighters, precision bombers, total air superiority, and still lost pilots to Soviet-made missiles operated by farmers with 3 weeks of training. This is every American jet that fought in Vietnam, and why technological dominance wasn't enough to win an air war with one hand tied behind your back. North American F-100 Super Sabre. The F-100 Super Sabre was the first supersonic fighter used by the United States in Vietnam, entering combat operations in 1962. Originally designed as a high-speed air superiority fighter, it quickly found its primary role shifted to ground attack and close air support. In Vietnam, the F-100 delivered conventional bombs, napalm, and rockets in support of ground forces, particularly during the early years of U.S. escalation. Though limited in range and payload compared to later aircraft, it proved rugged and responsive, establishing the jet-powered close air support model that would define much of the war's tactical air combat. Republic F-105 Thunderchief. The F-105 Thunderchief became the backbone of early U.S. strike operations against North Vietnam. Designed to deliver nuclear weapons at high speed, it was instead used extensively for conventional bombing during Operation Rolling Thunder. Flying low-level, high-speed attack profiles against heavily defended targets, the F-105 absorbed enormous losses from anti-aircraft artillery and surface-to-air missiles. Despite this, it carried the majority of strike sorties in the mid-1960 seconds, demonstrating both the power and vulnerability of Cold War strike doctrine in a modern air defense environment. McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II. The F-4 Phantom II was the most important American jet of the Vietnam War. Entering service as a fleet defense interceptor, it evolved into a true multi-role aircraft, performing air-to-air combat, ground attack, reconnaissance, and suppression of enemy air defenses. In Vietnam, the F-4 exposed critical shortcomings in missile-only air combat doctrine, as early engagements revealed the need for guns, better training, and revised tactics. Over time, improved variants and pilot experience turned the Phantom into a formidable platform that defined American air power in the latter half of the war. Vought F-8 Crusader. The F-8 Crusader served primarily with the U.S. Navy and Marine Corps as a carrier-based fighter. Known as the last gunfighter, it retained internal cannons at a time when many designs relied solely on missiles. Over Vietnam, the F-8 achieved one of the highest kill ratios of the war in air-to-air combat. Its success underscored the continued relevance of maneuverability and pilot skill in an era increasingly dominated by electronics and beyond visual range theory. Douglas A-4 Skyhawk. The A-4 Skyhawk was a compact carrier-capable attack aircraft that punched far above its weight. Designed for simplicity and efficiency, it became a mainstay of Navy and Marine Corps strike operations. Operating from aircraft carriers and forward bases, A-4 seconds conducted bombing missions against infrastructure, supply routes, and battlefield targets. Its small size made it difficult to detect, but it also left little margin for error against North Vietnam's dense air defenses. Grumman A-6 Intruder. The A-6 Intruder was designed specifically for all-weather, day and night attack missions. Equipped with advanced navigation and targeting systems, it allowed U.S. forces to strike regardless of visibility conditions. In Vietnam, the A-6 proved invaluable for deep strike missions and maritime interdiction, particularly along the Ho Chi Minh Trail. Its ability to operate when other aircraft were grounded gave it a strategic importance far beyond its relatively small numbers. LTV A-7 Corsair II. The A-7 Corsair II entered Vietnam late in the conflict, incorporating lessons learned from earlier strike aircraft. Emphasizing accuracy, range, and pilot survivability, it represented a more mature approach to tactical air attack. Although its combat impact was limited by timing, the A-7 demonstrated how American strike doctrine had evolved, placing greater emphasis on precision, avionics, and sustainable sortie rates rather than sheer speed. Boeing B-52 Stratofortress. The B-52 Stratofortress brought strategic bombing into a fundamentally unconventional war. Initially designed for nuclear deterrence, it was adapted for massive conventional bombing campaigns over South Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, and later North Vietnam. During operations such as Linebacker II, B-52 seconds delivered overwhelming firepower intended to break enemy logistics and political resolve. Their use highlighted the tension between strategic bombing theory and the realities of limited war. McDonnell RF-101 Voodoo. The RF-101 Voodoo served as one of the earliest jet reconnaissance aircraft in Vietnam. Flying high-speed photo missions over hostile territory, it provided critical intelligence on enemy movements and infrastructure. Its missions were among the most dangerous of the war, often conducted without escort. The RF-101's work laid the foundation for more advanced reconnaissance platforms that followed. McDonnell Douglas RF-4 Phantom II. The RF-4 variant of the Phantom replaced earlier reconnaissance jets with greater speed, survivability, and sensor capability. It became the primary tactical reconnaissance aircraft for U.S. forces. By combining advanced cameras and electronic sensors with the Phantom's performance, the RF-4 enabled near real-time intelligence collection that shaped strike planning and battlefield awareness throughout the later stages of the war. Douglas EB-66 Destroyer. The EB-66 was a jet-powered electronic warfare aircraft tasked with jamming enemy radar and communications. As North Vietnamese air defenses became more sophisticated, the EB-66 became essential to protecting strike packages. Operating at the edges of defended airspace, it helped blunt the effectiveness of surface-to-air missiles and radar-guided guns, illustrating the growing importance of the electromagnetic spectrum in modern warfare. Boeing KC-135 Stratotanker. The KC-135 Stratotanker quietly enabled nearly every American jet operation in Vietnam. By providing aerial refueling, it dramatically extended the range, persistence, and flexibility of strike and reconnaissance missions. Though rarely acknowledged in combat narratives, the tanker fleet made sustained air operations possible across vast distances, turning air power into a continuous presence rather than a series of isolated sorties. Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird. The SR-71 conducted high-altitude, high-speed reconnaissance missions related to the Vietnam conflict, though details remain limited. Its flights gathered strategic intelligence beyond the reach of conventional defenses. While its role was indirect, the SR-71 represented the outer edge of American aerial capability, demonstrating how intelligence collection extended far beyond the visible battlefield. Taken together, these American jets reveal how the Vietnam War forced a reckoning with air power itself. Aircraft designed for nuclear war, fleet defense, or European battlefields were adapted often imperfectly to jungles, mountains, and politically constrained skies. They show a transition from speed and payload toward precision, electronics, and integrated support systems. Air combat, once assumed to be a technological certainty, became a demanding contest of training, adaptability, and coordination. Most importantly, these aircraft demonstrate that air superiority alone could not determine the outcome of the war. Despite unmatched technological reach, the limits of air power became clear when strategy, terrain, and political reality shaped how that power could be used. Together, these jets tell the story of how the Vietnam War was actually fought in the air, not as theory, but as lived operational reality.